Hello. I only have three poems, but I also like hearing myself speak, so it kind of balances out. Um, I promise the story is kind of going somewhere. So I'm sure you've heard a lot about in the news how there are these bots that can now write essays for you. And as a teacher, I kind of hate it, but I find it fascinating as a writer. So I was playing around with one of these bots and I tried to get it to write poetry. Did not go great. It could not understand what free verse was, so pretty much everything it wrote was in these quatrains with A B rhyme scheme. So I moved on to getting it to write jokes, and one of my obsessions is meerkats, which you will see in the poem that's coming up. And I know more about meerkats than any non-science person really should. And I'm also obsessed with time travel. So I asked the AI to write a joke about a time traveling meerkat. And the joke it came up with was, why did the time traveling meerkat start digging? Because it was looking for a wormhole. That, not bad. Not bad. I used to do stand up, and that's better than any joke that I ever wrote. Um, so, this poem, Plight of the Meerkats, it kind of conflates the idea of meerkats with an experience that I'm sure a lot of you have had, which is an uncomfortable first date. And it's helpful to know that meerkats are insectivores. And yes, they do eat scorpions. They're resistant to the poison of scorpions, and so they eat them whole, with stinger and all. Anyway, Plight of the Meerkats. After the daily grind of burrowing, we forage in a restaurant at the Kalahari's edge. My claws awkwardly scatter utensils. You order the scorpion platter. The world is more infinite when we're tiny mammals. Today I caught a millipede. You'd rather talk about the universe, but the millipede was delicious, black and crunchy with many legs. We have snake eggs for dessert. We encroach on each other's territory, softly stepping across borders. You are resilient with your discourse, but the rival mobs dance for war, sending us home. It's hard to look for truth when the predators surround us. While the goshawks eye our pups, the desert heat increases. All right, this next poem is about Pluto, formerly a planet, now classified as a dwarf planet or a Plutoid. And this is relevant to the story, but this was accepted for publication late last year. And after it was accepted, the editor emails me and says, hey, according to some new information, some of the information in your poem is wrong. And he sent me a journal article from a scientific journal that was published about a month prior to my acceptance. And he says, do you mind fixing it? And so I didn't realize literary magazines had fact checkers on staff, but that is definitely a first for me. So this is now scientifically accurate. And also, I'll note that I do like writing about science, even though, as I said, I'm a non-science person. I think that the language of science is really rich and precise. And I also see a lot of parallels between that and poetry, because while science is looking for natural truth, I think poetry a lot of times is looking for personal or emotional truth. Anyway, this is in two sections. It's called Pluto is No Longer a Planet. 1. Free puppet show at the library. Astronomer Ostrich discusses with didactic dog about orbits, stellar spectra, about how the universe doesn't revolve around the Earth and how our insignificance. According to the mnemonic, my very evil mother just stole Uncle Ned's pants. But someone stole the pants from that sentence. Children cry. What happened to Pluto? Did it blow up? Did everyone die? 2. In my scale model of the solar system made of fruit, Pluto is a raisin sprayed with glow-in-the-dark polyurethane. In the darkness, it disappears and reappears as it rotates behind the pumpkin sun. Once they thought there were Martian canals and that Jupiter was entirely gaseous. And someday I will go to Pluto and coo at the methane snow. It's okay, little Plutoid. Maybe they're wrong about you too. Until then, I stare at the stupid plastic stars on my walls and the night sky hidden by houses. All right, this last poem is very new, written about a week ago. This is a first draft, which is very bold of me, but that's okay. In the introduction, they mentioned I teach high school. And in my creative writing class, I start every class with a writing exercise that I also participate in. So one day last week, I was just completely stuck for ideas. So my writing exercise was to write a writing exercise. And a lot of my students came up with some very interesting things. But here is what I came up with. Right now, I'm calling it writing exercise. It is currently a prose poem. I don't know if it will stay that way, but here's what I got. Writing exercise. The goal of this poetry exercise is to discover beauty and truth. Write a letter to the sunset and ask for a poem. When it writes you back, take its words and cut them out individually, rearranging them on your refrigerator. Rearranging them on your refrigerator. Take the refrigerator and make a photocopy to send to a friend. Have that friend translate into a language no one knows. Another friend will then convert it back to English, and you will take the poem and crumble it into a ball. Throw it at a historical figure or fictional character and transcribe their surprised expression. Turn it into a sonnet, a sestina, a villanelle. Delete the first 4 lines and 3 in the middle without looking. Put the poem into a mirror and stare at yourself, staring at the poem. Trace your face with a grease pencil. Now it's ready for publication. All right, thank you.